One universal truth we can all agree on is that everyone loves pizza. And with its endless variety of styles and toppings, it's easy to see why. No matter how you slice it, it's the most popular food on the planet. And today, we're exploring the pizza giant that changed the entire industry, Domino's. You'll see the secrets behind their game-changing recipe makeover and the cutting-edge tech that gets steaming hot pizza to your doorstep in record time. So grab a plate, because we're tossing all the cheesy details your way, just ahead on Made Vision. Chances are, your last pizza probably came in a box just like this one. It's made of durable cardboard, and most importantly, it keeps your cheese from becoming a gooey mess on the lid. This clever design is all thanks to Domino's founder Tom Monahan, who created the corrugated pizza box in 1965 so his drivers could stack multiple pizzas for their growing new delivery service. That delivery-first approach gave Domino's an edge over the competition, and by 2022, it had dethroned longtime rival Pizza Hut, securing the largest share of U.S. pizza chain revenue and expanding to more than 20,000 stores across the globe. Domino's rise to become the leading pizza chain was no accident, though. It was strategy. Their biggest breakthrough came in 2009 when they conducted internal focus groups to hear what customers really thought about their pizza. And the feedback they received was brutal. Hundreds of loyal customers didn't hold back voicing their complaints, comparing the crust to cardboard, and dismissing the sauce as barely better than ketchup.
You know what? When you first hear it, it's shocking.
Yeah, it's hard to watch.
So in 2010, they responded with a complete recipe overhaul. This meant rebuilding everything from scratch. Every core ingredient got completely redesigned and upgraded. They reconstructed their crust, reformulated their sauce, and chose premium cheese, all using top-tier ingredients. So what exactly are these special ingredients that actually went into this complete makeover? Let's find out. To make their in-store pizza creation as fast as possible, Domino's operates 25 supply chain centers scattered across the U.S. These facilities prepare fresh dough from scratch and store the sauce, cheese, and toppings, which are brought in from trusted suppliers. The ingredients are then delivered to more than 7,000 U.S. franchise locations, where the pizzas get assembled and baked fresh. And since we're right here at the source, let's see how the new dough recipe gets made from the ground up. Making the new dough starts with pouring precise amounts of oil, water, yeast, salt, and sugar into this 800-pound vat. Then secret ingredients out of what Domino's calls the goodie bag goes in. A factory worker then uses an enormous whisk and mixes everything together by hand. Flour comes next, getting poured into the blend before the whole bowl transfers under this industrial mixer. Once the lid seals shut, a mechanical arm turns at 280 rotations per minute. 5 minutes later, after the dough has developed, the lid pops open and the hefty vat goes to the divider machine. The 800-pound vat carrying the dough now rides up a 12-foot track before flipping over and emptying the dough into the hopper above this machine. Inside the divider, the large dough mass gets extruded out. Then, blades slice it into smaller chunks of individual dough sizes. The divider can be adjusted to create small, medium, or large-size pizza crusts. Right now, it's set for large. These portions then fall into this spinning rounder machine that rapidly shapes the dough into perfectly round balls. Having perfectly round shapes means the pizza makers inside the stores can hand-press the dough and achieve consistently circular crusts every time. After that, the dough balls pass through a metal detector as an added quality control measure. Moving down the conveyor, robotic arms carefully position the dough balls into plastic trays. Each tray holds exactly 8 balls with generous spacing to prevent them from sticking as they naturally expand. Every tray then gets tagged with batch and date information. Then, instead of freezing the dough, which would stop the rising process and destroy the crust texture, the trays are chilled inside this rotating chiller system for precisely 1 hour at 39 degrees Fahrenheit. A conveyor then moves the trays to a stacking machine that builds towers of 25, then loads them onto wheeled dollies for better mobility. Finally, workers roll the stacks of chilled dough into the cold storage area, where they'll wait until it's time to ship them to franchise locations. For the revamped sauce, we leave Domino's supply chain behind and visit one of their suppliers creating the new, robust-inspired pizza sauce. It's crafted for a richer, bolder flavor with 40% more herbs, including garlic, oregano, and basil, as you're about to see. Production starts with these massive crates of premium tomato paste, weighing up to 1,500 pounds. These enormous crates get hoisted up and emptied into this ribbon blender. As the tomato paste drops through metal grates, a giant agitator breaks it down and softens it. After a few minutes, the paste flows through pipes into a 1,300-gallon mixing tank. Then, it's combined with pre-measured salt, vinegar, and various sweeteners. To create the sauce's robust-inspired flavor, Domino's secret spice blend of garlic, chili powder, basil, oregano, black pepper, citric acid, and peppermint are scooped into this large bin. The dry mix is then lifted and dumped into the mixing tank. With about 5 minutes of blending and heating, all the spices are now fused together, creating a smooth and creamy, robust pizza sauce. It's packaged into 32-ounce plastic containers and shipped in refrigerated trucks to Domino's supply centers, waiting for distribution to stores. For the mozzarella, we head over to another one of their suppliers, Leprino Foods. They're world-renowned for their quality dairy products and also supply other major pizza chains with their cheese as well. It starts with part skim milk arriving to the factory in large tanker trucks. After arrival, a hose is connected to the back of the truck, pumping 396 gallons per minute into these enormous holding tanks. The milk then flows through pipes to the pasteurizer, where it gets rapidly heated to 162 degrees Fahrenheit to eliminate any harmful bacteria. It's then cooled down and transferred to this large tank, where the mozzarella production begins. Since they're specifically making mozzarella, they add starter cultures called Streptococcus thermophilus and Lactobacillus delbrueckii into the milk. These cultures are specific to making this particular type of cheese. With moderate heat and mixing, these cultures will feed on the milk's natural sugars, converting them into lactic acid through fermentation, which creates the mozzarella's acidic and tangy flavor. Next comes a liquid enzyme called rennet. This enzyme reacts to the acidity created by the cultures and starts solidifying the milk through coagulation. Within 30 to 40 minutes, the milk proteins and fats have combined to create a gel-like material called curd that kinda looks like yogurt. Mechanical agitators then slice through the curd mass, revealing the liquid component called whey. After about an hour, the curd and whey blend gets pumped through pipes into an enormous tub called a finishing table. Inside this tub, mechanical agitators churn the blend while the liquid whey gradually drains out, isolating the solid cheese curds. Rather than being thrown out like in the past, the liquid whey gets dried and processed into whey protein powder, which is a popular supplement among fitness enthusiasts. After removing about 60% of the liquid whey, a massive shovel pushes the solid cheese curds into an auger system that transports it to the cooking area. The curds now move to a machine known as the cooker stretcher. As you may guess from its name, this device heats the curds to 136 degrees Fahrenheit until it melts. At the same time, continuous stretching and kneading transforms it into one large, elastic mass of mozzarella. From there, the cheese is sent through a machine that cuts and presses the giant mass into smaller rectangular blocks. Then the blocks get submerged in this salty brine solution, where they'll soak for about 4 hours. This brining process halts further fermentation and cooking while adding extra flavor to the cheese. The salt also pulls out moisture from the blocks, leaving the cheese soft, springy, and ready to melt perfectly on a pizza. Following the soaking process, the blocks move through a conveyor into the shredding machine. The newly shredded mozzarella now flows along a second conveyor belt before being packaged into plastic 5-pound bags. These bags then get vacuum sealed, loaded onto trucks, and delivered to Domino's distribution centers, where they're kept refrigerated. Now that we've covered the dough, sauce, and cheese, let's talk toppings, beginning with the fan favorite, pepperoni. While Domino's works with multiple meat suppliers, Hormel Foods is often mentioned as a source, though that can change depending on demand and availability. The pepperoni itself is a blend of both pork and beef, with most of it coming from pork shoulder and loins selected for their marbled fat, which adds a hearty, savory flavor. And secondly, beef chuck, adding a meatier taste and a slightly tougher texture. The blend usually breaks down to about 80% pork and 20% beef. They begin by tipping the pork and beef blend into this large commercial grinder. Inside, heavy-duty spinning blades simultaneously slice and combine the meats, creating a consistent mixture. Before adding any seasoning, a specific strain of Lactobacillus bacteria is introduced. This starter culture helps kick off the fermentation process that comes later. After that, the real flavor is added. A secret mix of salt, cayenne pepper, concentrated paprika, and fennel seeds is poured in as the meat is blended, giving it that signature pepperoni kick. Next, the seasoned meat mixture gets tipped into the casing machine. This device pushes the meat through a wide tube into beef collagen casings, completely stuffing each section before sealing the ends to create a linked chain of pepperonis. Workers then hang the links on smoking racks and wheel them into the fermentation room. For 1 to 2 days, the pepperoni links are kept inside this room, where the temperature is maintained at 95 degrees Fahrenheit with 82% humidity. These conditions will activate the starter cultures added earlier during mixing. The cultures will feed on the dextrose in the seasonings while blocking dangerous bacteria from developing in the meat. This fermentation stage also develops the pepperoni's characteristic tangy flavor. After fermentation, the racks are rolled into the drying room, where the temperature drops to around 80 degrees Fahrenheit. They'll stay here for about 60 days. During this time, the bacteria helps moisture migrate through the casings, which causes mold to grow slowly on their surface. This is a natural part of the curing stage. Once the drying is complete, the mold is rinsed off the surfaces in preparation for the next step. Next, a machine strips away the casings and feeds the pepperonis into a high-speed slicer that cuts them into precise 2mm rounds in seconds. The fresh slices then move along a conveyor to a packaging machine, where they're packed into vacuum-sealed bags to lock in freshness. These pepperoni bags are then sent to Domino's supply centers and held in cold storage. At this point, the supply chain center is fully stocked with everything needed to make a Domino's pizza. And with over 3 million pizzas sold each day, ingredients don't stay on the shelves for long. Once a franchise order is placed, the dough, sauce, cheese, and toppings are loaded onto refrigerated trucks and sent out. These deliveries usually happen late at night to avoid traffic and crowded parking lots. When the truck arrives, the ingredients are unloaded and placed in the store's walk-in cooler, ready for the next rush of orders. The next step is placing your order. With Domino's online pizza tracker, introduced in 2008, you can follow every step, from the moment your order's confirmed to when it arrives at your door. It's a neat way to keep tabs on your pizza's journey in real time. When your order hits the system, the team jumps into prep mode. The fresh, never-frozen dough comes out of the fridge and sits for several minutes to rise and reach room temperature. A pizza maker then sprinkles a thin coating of cornmeal across a stainless steel workspace to prevent sticking. Using a 6-finger spinning technique, they stretch the dough into shape while forming a pencil-thin edge. Their hand-tossed pizzas are crafted entirely by hand, without any presses or rollers. Some even take it up a notch, tossing the dough in the air with a spin for extra stretch. Once the shape looks right, it's placed on a metal baking screen to check the size. It's about 14 inches across for a large pizza. To apply the sauce, they use Domino's patented tool called the spoodle. It's a cross between a spoon and a ladle, designed to spread sauce quickly and evenly. Their ideal technique is to cover the dough in 3 circular motions or less, leaving about a thumb's width of space around the edges for the crust. And here's a fun fact. The spoodle was invented in 1985 by franchise owner Jeff Goddard as a way to speed things up during peak hours. Next, the pizza maker scoops up 2 generous handfuls of mozzarella and scatters it across the pizza, beginning at the outer edges and moving toward the center. Once finished, only small patches of sauce remain visible through the cheese. Next comes the toppings, and just like every other step at Domino's, they've perfected a system for this too. They start at the outer edges and spiral inward, strategically placing pepperonis and other toppings, making sure every bite gets a little bit of everything. Then it's popped into this conveyor oven and bakes at 465 degrees Fahrenheit. After about 7 minutes, it rolls out golden, bubbling, and piping hot. While still sizzling, it's pulled from the conveyor, slid into a corrugated pizza box, and cut into 8 pieces for a large size, then set aside for pickup or the next delivery run. Delivery has always been a major focus for Domino's, and they've led the way in pushing the limits of how pizza gets to your door. They created those 3D car topper signs and their signature insulated heatwave bag that keeps your pizza hot until the doorbell rings. Then came delivery drones, fully autonomous Neuro, and even building a custom car with a built-in oven that can carry 80 pizzas. And in 2023, they added pinpoint delivery, a feature that lets you get pizza delivered just about anywhere, even at the beach or a ball game. So now that you know how it's made and how it gets to you, what are your go-to toppings? Drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching Made Vision. We'll see you next time.